Islam, Islam, Islam. Welcome, Muslim. Gratitude. We'll bring forth our first, we'll start with our opening prayer by our Divine Minister, Dr. Shishtat Ra Amun El. Oh, subhanallah. Dr. Marcus Cashby. Praise Allah. Islam.
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 O Allah, Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. O Allah, you are my protector, our guide, my salvation, by night and by day, through your holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Amen. Islam.
Islam, Muslims. We have now our Divine Minister, Dr. Shishtat Ramun El. He'll be coming forward with our Divine Constitution of Moorish America. Islam.
Islam. Let us rise in prayer. Salvation, our God, unity. The Divine Constitution of Moorish America, Act 1. The Grand Sheikh and the Chairman of Moorish America are in power to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the Prophet and the Grand Body of Moorish America. The Assistant Grand Sheikh is to assist the Grand Sheikh in all affairs if he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and it is known before the citizens of Moorish America. The Bylaws, Act 2. All meetings are to be open and closed promptly, according to the Circle 7, and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest, because on a Friday, the first man was formed in flesh, and on a Friday, the first man departed out of flesh and ascended unto his Father God Allah. For that cause, Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all citizens of Moorish America. No citizen is to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister, because Allah is love. Act 4. All citizens must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all citizens must obey the laws of the government, because by being a Moorish American, you are a part and parcel of the government and must live the life accordingly. Act 5. No organization of Moorish America is to cause any confusion or overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all citizens must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, color folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slave holders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live in the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Jew Ali the Prophet to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites whom inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All citizens must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and parcel of all uplifting acts of Moorish America. Moorish Americans must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of Moorish America, and then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become a part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Jew Ali, through the guidance of his father God Allah. Prophet Noble Jew Ali, peace and blessings be upon him, founding father and framer of the divine constitution of Moorish America. And now that this meeting is open, according to law, the Circle 7 and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. I say, we say, Islam, Islam, Islam.
Islam. Gratitude for that grand delivery, Dr. Shatat Ramunel. Islam. Now we'll bring forward another divine minister, Dr. Martinell. He'll be coming forward with our divine warnings from the prophet and the fallen sons and daughters of the Asiatic nation. Islam.
Islam family. Islam. It's truly a pleasure to see everyone here this afternoon. This is a glorious occasion. We're looking at the fruit, the very best of what Allah has to offer. And we are pleased that we can come together in fellowship as Moors and as family. Islam. Islam. The divine origin of the Asiatic nations. The fallen sons and daughters of the Asiatic nation of North America need to learn to love instead of hate and to know their higher selves and lower self. This is the uniting of the Quran, Holy Quran of Mecca, for the teachings and instructions of all Moorish Americans, etc. The key of civilization was and is in the hands of the Asiatic nations. The Moorish Americans, who are the ancient Moabites and founders of the holy city of Mecca, the Egyptians, who were the Hammatites and the direct descendants of Mizraim, the Arabians, the seed of Hagar, Japanese, and Chinese, the Hindus of India, the descendants of the ancient Canaanites, the Hittites, the Moabites from the land of Canaan, the Asiatic nations and countries in North, South, and Central America, the Moorish Americans and Mexicans in North America, Brazilians, Argentinians, Chileans in South America, Colombians, Nicaraguans, and the natives of San Salvador in Central America, etc. All of these are Muslims. The Turks are the true descendants of Hagar, who are the chief protectors of the Islamic creed of Mecca. beginning from Muhammad, the first and the founder of the Uniting of Islam, by the command of the great universal God, Allah, Islam. At this time, this meeting is formally open. Thank you.
Islam. Praise Allah. Now we'll bring forth our next divine minister, Dr. Culp. He'll be coming from the scriptures of Ezekiel 37, 1 through 7, and Revelations 10, 1 and 2. Islam.
Islam family. The book of Ezekiel, the 37th chapter, starting at the first verse, and it reads, "The hand of God came upon me and brought me out in the spirit of God, and set me down in the midst of the valley, and it was full of bones. Then he caused me to pass by them all around, and behold, there were many in the open valley, and indeed they were dry. And he said to me, Son of man, can these bones live? I answered, O God, you know. Again he said to me, Prophesy to these bones, and say to them, O dry bones, hear the words of God. And say, thus says God, the God, to the bones, surely surely I will cause breath to enter into you, and you shall live. I will put sinew on you and bring flesh upon you, cover you with skin, and put breath in you, and you shall live. Then you shall know that I am God. So I prophesied as I was commanded, and as I prophesied, there was a noise, and suddenly a rattling, and the bones came together, bone to bone. And in Revelations, the 10th chapter, starting at the first verse, I'm going to read the first two verses, and it says, I saw still another mighty angel coming down from heaven, clothed with a cloud, and a rainbow was on his head. His face was like the sun, his feet like pillars of fire. He had a little book open in his hand, and he set his right foot on the sea and his left foot on land. I've just read those verses. Islam family.
Islam. Gratitude for that measure. Dr. Culp Bey, L. Now we'll bring forth our Divine Minister and Grand National Secretary of Moorish America, Dr. Sefsut Rekat Mayat Ampu Tutankhamun Bey. Islam.
Islam Moorishkin. First of all, I want to rise giving all praises to our Father God Allah, giving a most special honor to our Prophet Noble Dur Ali, the last prophet in these days and times, giving honor to our Moorish American government, also giving honor to each and every one of you, for indeed this is a great celebration. It's a blessing to have all of my Moorish kin come together in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. That is such a blessing, and it's a beautiful sight to behold. So I was given a particular assignment today, and first I'm going to deal with the definition of a few words. Then I'm going to bring forth what was termed as the Declaration of Independence in dealing with how the United States was put together, and also bring forth our proclamation declaration in reference to why it is important for us to be a nation of people. Islam. The first word is dealing with civiliter mortus. That is Latin, and it means civilly dead, or dead in the eyes of the law, dead in the view of the law. The condition of one who has lost his civil rights and capacities and is accounted dead in law. And in essence, Moorish Ken, this is where our people are, and this is where the prophet found his people buried in the 14th and 15th Amendments, okay? The next word is dealing with nation. And this definition was coming out of Black's Law Dictionary, the 3rd edition. A people or aggregation of men existing in the form of an organized jural society, inhabiting a distinct portion of the earth usually, speaking the same language, using the same customs, possessing historic continuity, and distinguished from other like groups by their racial origin and characteristics. Generally, but not necessarily, living under the same government and sovereignty. Besides the element of autonomy or self-government, the independence of the community as a whole from the interference of any foreign power in its affairs or any subjection to such power, it is further necessary to the constitution of a nation that it governs its own citizens by regular laws and defining and protecting their rights, and respecting the rights and duties which attach to it as a member of the family of nations. The nation has her affairs and her interests. The nation deliberates and takes resolutions in common, thus becoming a moral citizen, a citizen who possesses an understanding and the will peculiar to that especial nation, and it's susceptible of the obligations and the rights of that especial nation. A nation is also considered the people, which is the collection of all the citizens without distinction of rank and order, all living under the same government, composing the people of the state. And you've heard the terms such as nation state, okay? In relation to the state or nation state, the citizens constitute the people. In relation to the human race, they constitute the nation. The nation is the moral body, independent of political revolutions, because it is constituted by inborn qualities which render it indissoluble, which means it cannot be dissolved. Islam. I was asked for a definition of prophet, and of course, if you look in Webster's dictionary, they have a prophet as a proclaimer of the will of God, a seer or an oracle, also a spiritual guide. In our 101s, what is a prophet? A prophet is a thought of Allah manifested in the flesh. This is what our prophet Noble Durali brings to us. What is the duty of a prophet? To save nations from the wrath of Allah. The prophet also let us know, I brought you everything it takes to save a nation. Now take it and save yourselves. The prophet also stated a beggar nation cannot attain to its highest degree of spirituality. I just wanted to read briefly again from the lessons of the prophet, a few sentences in the divine warning by the prophet. I, the prophet, was prepared by the great God Allah to warn my people to repent from their sinful ways and go back to that state of mind, to their forefathers' divine and national principles, that they will be law abiders and receive their divine right as citizens. So in essence, Moorish kin, don't let anyone tell you that nationality and being a nation is not important. When it comes down to the so-called United States of America and their a special Declaration of Independence, I have in front of me a transcript in Congress, July 4th, 1776. And this is dealing with the 13 colonies and how they were bucking against the British because taxation without representation, that kind of thing. Didn't disagree. I'm over here in America, you over there. We need to be able to govern ourselves. So they drafted up the Declaration of Independence. And this is just a few sentences from this special document. When in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them. They're entitled to what now? Okay. A decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. So in essence, I have a problem with you, and I'm going to, being a man, give you the reasons why I think it's necessary for me to step away from you, okay? We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. What men are they talking about? You have to remember, this was drafted by European Masons. So they were not looking at Asiatics. They were not looking at us when they made this term all men, okay? They had the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, okay, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. Then they began to get a little bit specific. This is what really, you know how sometimes you have read over a particular document years ago and then you go back and you have different eyes? When this sentence states, all experience has shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are insufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. So in essence, we rather go through a whole bunch of negativity, all kinds of demonic stuff, genocide, the whole 9 yards, as opposed to standing up, taking your place in the affairs of nations. Now, this is back here in 1776, and they're talking about the character of so-called man, what we have as humans a tendency to do. Oh, it's going to be better in the by and by. You've heard that before. Right. There are just a few of the bones that they had to pick with the British. He has erected a multitude of new offices and sent hither swarms of officers to harass our people and eat out their substance. I'm like, 1776, 2016. Okay? What's wrong with this picture? He has kept among us in times of peace standing armies without the consent of our legislatures. He has combined with others to subject us to a jurisdiction foreign to our Constitution and unacknowledged by our laws, giving his assent to their acts of pretended legislation. In essence, they were complaining then about colorable laws of which our people are under at this day, okay? For cutting off our trade with parts of the world, imposing taxes without our consent. Did our prophet not tell us that the time was going to come and you're going to be taxed to death? For transporting us beyond seas to be tried for pretended offenses. Now you talking about Britain, and what did you do to our people? He has abdicated government here by declaring us out of his protection and waging war against us. He has plundered our seas, ravaged our coasts, burnt our towns, and destroyed the lives of our people. He is at this time transporting large armies of foreign mercenaries to complete the works of death, destruction, desolation, and tyranny, already begun with circumstances of cruelty and perfidy. And when you examine that word perfidy, that's an intentional violation of a trust. Did not our ancestors say that he speaks with forked tongue? You make some kind of promise, you make a treaty over here, next thing you know, it's broken. Perfidy also is dealing with a form of treachery, which we're just dealing with that on our conference calls in our special chapter, and also being deceitful. Now, we go to my last measure, coming from the Proclamation Declaration, the Moorish American Divine and National Birthrights of Independence, which is explaining why we, recognizing our prophet, are speaking about our particular and a special Moorish American nation. The United States in her infancy has witnessed no nation can be free to live out its creed, personify high principles, and attain unlimited capacity of development while under the yoke, laws, and tyranny of another government. Neither has the Moorish Americans been free to be themselves in the 150-year 1865 since their emancipation from Negro chattel slavery, while under the assumable jurisdiction of the U.S. 14th and 15th Amendments of granted privileges, separated from the rights guaranteed to all free national citizens in the body of her Constitution. The Moorish Americans, through divine and human rights, have come forth as a clean and pure people, empowered with the inalienable birthrights to be an upright, independent, and fearless nation. In accordance with the United Nations Declaration of Human Rights, they have the right to proclaim their one true free national name of their forefathers and be known by number. We have been ordained with our divine constitution du jour, officials of government with attaché and ambassadors, 5 high principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. In this declaration proclamation, we, the free nationals of Moorish America, have restored the over 100,000-year-old national flag of our ancient forefathers and our long ago prophesied holy book of the 7 seals, Revelations chapter 10, which you just heard our beloved brother read. According to mature and international laws, we have the inherent rights to our territorial homelands, air and waterways of today's Americas and adjoining islands. These indigenous heritages were originally civilized, inhabited, and cultivated by our ancient forefathers before and again after the great earthquake to ensure our descendant prosperity. That to secure these rights, there are governments instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, assured whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is then becomes the inherent and just right of the people to abandon the oppressor and institute new government, laying its foundation on the omnipotent principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and affirmatively organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. As property, we could comprehend the powers of evil are not requisite to man, and by glorifying the fallen state of 8.2 million single moms among its women, it is their natural right and duty to unfold away from such government and provide new guards for future security. When a misnomered African American people, amidst the catch and release systems of racial profiling, compile 20% of U.S. travelers, but form 80% of those stopped by state action law enforcements, and mandatory minimums disproportionately warehouse their use. And death penalties, including federal prisoners, are constituted by 70% staple of ex-slaves, who total less than 17% of the general population. and when all judicial convictions of official Negro, Black, and colored property since the congressional ratification of the 1868 14th Amendment, with its colorable intents to recycle slavery through persons, which is in essence Negro, Black, and colored property, duly convicted of a crime previously abolished by the 13th Amendment, were negligent of their proper status, in addition to leaving all court systems in the United States in want of jurisdiction, are hereby declared ex post facto and void of all judicial, civil, and human substances. When the records reveal all Negro, Black, and colored are a man-made people, completely denationalized from the human family to be property owned by the United States, and naturalization, the process by which a whole person, in full consciousness of nationality by birth and descent, applies for citizenship, a choice among all free national constitutions, has been politically denied to the Negro, Black, and colored population, and there has been no record documented since the enactment of the 13th Amendment to reflect the naturalization clause by treaty, application, nor judicial hearing, nor petition, nor declaration of allegiance, in true intercourse to the Moorish peoples of lawful age and be accepted by choice as naturalized citizens of the United States. If Italians, Greeks, English, Chinese, Japanese, Turks, Arabians, and Moroccans are forced to proclaim their free national name and religion before the constitutional government of the United States of America, it is no more than right that the law should be enforced upon all American citizens alike. To be a citizen of any government, you must proclaim your national descent name, because all governments place their trust upon issue and names formed by their forefathers. Being Negro, colored, Black, or African American, etc., are not nationalities. Neither bears the one free national descent name of any forefathers, but used in the semblance thereof. Ergo, the Negro state was never designed to muster the noble status of true citizen or qualify the bearers to reach from the federal question of denationalization to the choice of naturalization. The product thereby is colorable citizenry, leaving a residue of mental slavery, which has been the existing condition until now. Therefore, since there is no distinction between a black slave and a free black on the credit side of righteousness, hence, in the matters of the bearers of slave names, the standard doors of selective citizenship are forever sealed, either by national descent, choice, or naturalization. The United States has always known so-called Negro, Black, colored persons, which were made exclusively in its government, are not citizens, especially in the judicial endorsement of the Dred Scott decision. When so-called Negro, Black, and colored were forced to use slave names, not knowing these labels are unacceptable, without worth, and decry muster among the realms of free nationalized citizens, making blacks, excluding Indians not taxed, as 3/5 of all other persons, subjected to perpetual taxation without true representation as those members under a free national descent name. When the high diligence of honor and glory due for another siphons the contributions and accomplishments of a people, then unjustly hoisted as their own, the credibility, trust, and reliance are misplaced. This, too, is a component of iron hand oppression when placed upon a people who, within the bounds of the U.S. 14th and 15th Amendments, have been denied repatriated nationhood. And to personify such acts under bondage sustains the motto, slaves can never be greater than their masters, and the labor of all their good words, works, and deeds will only glorify their owner. When the 14th and 15th Amendments were ratified in full light of Supreme Court's Dred Scott decision, 1856, which declared denationalized Africans, whether a Negro slave or freed Negro, to be still a Negro and can never muster the naturalized status of a United States citizen. This decision has never been overturned, but but an ex post facto concurrent tortfeasors of the subject. This irrelevancy of whether a Negro is a slave or free is reiterated in Section 4 of the 14th Amendment. When, from a 2009 through 2015 United States corporate census reveals 30% compilation of its national total is denationalized Afro-American property population, now lawfully unable to produce a descendant line of families from amongst themselves, produced from the residue of 84% single parents, with the statistics displaying 15.2 million single moms legally unable to have monogamous husbands and fathers. When a people of over 9.6 million state-certified professionals, 4 million Muslims, over 8 million members of Western Freemasonry and other secret societies, numerous celebrities of every field, over 200 mayors and governors, 40 members of Congressional Black Caucus, a host of officials, appointed judges, a U.S. justice here in The Hague, a people with over 90% Christian leaders and followers, largely all descendants of ex-slaves, as denationalized commercial property, are European trained, as opposed to being educated through heritage. Leadership is always disallowed among chattel. This is the reason they, as property, have been forbidden to muster or sustain one leader from among themselves, due to long-standing systems of miseducation of a free status within the human family, while being hidden under the grandeur of fake U.S. citizenry. Their nobility cannot shine through identifications of apartheid and other slave labels. The abyss of human slavery is an evil and sinful institution producing psychologically contented slaves through their ignorance of knowing they are slaves. When we have not been able to promote from the sons of man our equal to sovereign power and set as a ruler over ourselves, for the good of our own kingdom due to feigned freedom and denationalized citizenry of the USA. When the peace of all societies depend on justice, the happiness of individuals on the safe enjoyment of all their possessions, yet so-called black persons, being colorable American citizens, are they themselves possessed. The gold, silver, and commerce belong to the citizens, and because all persons born or naturalized are real property under the laws of the United States, so-called African Americans generate an annual $750 billion as consumers, yet have no true wealth and own no possessions as a people. Since it is not in the nature of slaves to also be the slaveholder, the mass production of USA-made Negro, Black, and colored people was never designed for them to be autonomous. From this die of political and state-owned slavers alone, they have no rights that the true citizens are bound to respect. They will never enjoy the peace of a society while latent in the perpetual sin of human slavery. When a Negro, Black, and colored people unable to receive divine rights unmolested by other citizens, whereas they can never cast a free national ballot at the polls under their free national constitution of the state's government, and not under granted privileges as has been the existing condition. The granted privilege of a Negro, Black, and colored cannot be counted as a one man, one vote, while the 3/5 clause remains cloaked in the esoteric word person, thereby rendering from a peopleless people the covert 3-to-make-1 ballot at the discretion of the recognized citizens. When 15 years of post-slavery and emancipation of African nationals have not yielded their just nationalization, colonization, reparations, nor self-education, but depleted for the economical, political, industrial, religious entertainment, and competitive advantages of the United States, it is only befitting in the course of justice for the Moorish peoples of the Americas to best honor the benevolence of the said corporation through a formal agreement of peace and friendship, as opposed to be a census tumor on the body of that state. When the colonies, corporations, towns, cities, homes, travelways, infrastructures, and means we have planted yet are not our own. And our subjects do not enjoy the fruits of their labor in security, and no happiness is consistent with the observance of your laws. The true glory of our people is not exalted to the world as products of our ingeniousness. When the communities within the sovereign states, where the descendants of ex-slaves reside, are baited with imported drugs, weapons, and economical allurements, concealed with hooks of crimes, punishment, and death, while they, the nationless ones, are neither the owners, transporters, military, nor mentors of U.S. currencies, and have no controlling interest in these creations. Still, the labeled Negroes, blacks, and Afros net a 700% increase to U.S. prison industrial plantations since 1985 congressional sentencing guidelines, when we as a free national have our leaders stifled and disallowed to call together the wise men of our people to consult among them with freedom and hear the opinions of them all. No magistrates to be just, nor ministers to be wise. Fathers without land, wealth, nor autonomy cannot smile upon the flourishments of our arts, neither gain strength from the sciences improved beneath the culture of our hands, to be inherited to our sons and daughters. When any form of government confounds the historical dye of a mentally enslaved people into the social maya of an illusionist Black History Month, Black Bibles, Black medias, historical Black colleges, and universities that denationalizes and severs them from the worthiness of an ancient forefathers while ostracizing them from the human family of nations. When Jews, although not a nationality or free national name, yet received $6.5 billion in reparations, and Japanese Americans were given another compassionate measure of compensations with sovereign powers and immunities, both from World War II. Yet, no apologies or credit to those survivors and descendants of over 500 years of slavery in the Americas, and islands supported by the Moroccan Treaty and latter 236 years under the American flag. When the system of education is steeped in Euro nationalism and surface degrees of color rather than character. When a religion forced upon slaves during the time of slavery yields an observance of a God that is not our own, nor graced with the divine and national freedom of we as a pure and clean people. These systems of religion and education are not squared to perpetuate our true image and likeness through adherence to our accomplishments and contributions to civilization prevalent to promote our generations. Islam.
Islam. Gratitude. Dr. Asepsut Rekat Mayat Ampu Tutankhamun Bey, Grand National Secretary of Moorish America, for that grand demonstration. Islam. Now we'll bring forth our two divine ministers out of Maryland. Praise Allah for them. Dr. Anwar Agu Ali El and Dr. Malik Imhotep Patah El Bey. What is a nation and the responsibilities of a nation? Islam.
Islam.
Islam. Islam. Islam. Once again I rise, giving perfect praise to the great God Allah, honors to his prophets, honor to the last prophet in these days and time, Prophet Noble Drew Ali. I give honor to the Royal Council of the Moorish American government, all its officials, all its citizens. I give honor where honor is due, give honor to all of you. Islam, Moors. Islam. I need to say one more thing. I also give honor to effort And I give honor to effort because some of us just refuse to try. And I give honor to effort because you're here. And you could be somewhere else. You trying to steal my glasses and stuff. Islam was. I just want to read a few things from our 101s, and we read this daily in our Sunday school class. Just a couple of questions and answers, and the first question is, what is the scripture of Islam? And the answer is the Holy Quran and all books that contain truth for the guidance of man. So truth is not just exclusive to the literature that we have up here on the table. Truth has always been out there, but you have to have eyes to see and ears to hear in order to grasp it. Next I want to read, it says, what is the science? What is our science? Answer, our science is a living manifestation. And Islam simply means peace. Islamism is the study of peace. And what we do here in the Moorish American government is bring that peace to manifestation. And that's what we're trying to do here, Moors. I want to read one more thing. Here it is. Question, how humble should man be? Answer, as he art weak and ignorant. And I read that because we have, some of our people have doctor's degrees and master's degrees and PhDs and ABCs and don't have a clue of what their nationality is. So they, with all these degrees, it puts them on another, they put their self on another pedestal, and we're just common people. Here's another question. It says, when will man know to be happy? Answer, when he knows to be content. So ask yourself that question. Are you content? Islam. I just want to give briefly the United States, because we've been under the illusion that the United States being a nation, and actually, and the Grand Secretary of State touched on it. The United States lost its sovereignty back in 1871. They became a corporation, but they still vibrate, or they still put information out there like they're a nation, and you can be a citizen of the great US of A. That's a lie. Corporations don't make citizens. And I was telling the minister earlier today, there's a co-worker of mine, he's from Kenya, and he and his family came over. I work for Baltimore City. And they gave him a DVD to study. And some of the questions and answers in the DVDs, I think the first question was, who was the first president? And then the answer was George Washington. And a couple of other questions and answers in this DVD he needed to learn in order to become a citizen of the United States. That's bogus. But they're still teaching this. This is the United States preamble. It says, we the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provided for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings and liberties of ourselves and our prosperities. Do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. The Grand National Secretary of State just read it also. The group of people that they sent over here that detached from England formulated this for themselves and their prosperities. Had nothing to do with the slaves. Nothing. Zero. And all of this, and look, and I always say this in my Sunday school class, don't take my word for it. Go check it out for yourself. You can pull anything you want up on this gadget right here. Anything. And most people pulling up stuff for entertainment and miss the real deal. Islam. I just want to read a little something here. Listen to what it says. And you can pull these documents up too. You know, you can pull these documents up. Truth about your birth certificate. Pull it up right here. You can pull it up on there. And the truth about the birth certificate, the birth certificate is a warehouse receipt. The minute they'll keep that birth record and give you the receipt. And then that birth record will go to the Bureau of Commerce over in Washington, D.C. And then it's put on the stock market. Listen to this, Moors. It's put on the stock market to build up currency for the country, for this corporation. And I want to get to another thing because I had joined the military, unbeknownst to myself. I joined the military, and a friend of mine tried to, and this will make it clear for you. Look, a friend of mine tried to commit suicide. He just couldn't take it anymore. But because he took that oath in the military, he became property of the United States government. And because committing suicide, he didn't succeed, they locked him up. That's right. They locked him up for doing damage to property of the United States, to the government. Yeah. Truth. That's the truth. Listen to what it says here. And more as I'm saying this because in another arena, they have a quote that says, because mental slavery is a disease, unbeknownst to ourselves, unbeknownst to our parents. Our grandparents gave it to our parents, and our parents gave it to us, and then we're going to give it to our children, and so on and so on and so on. According to the Willie Lynch letter. Look it up. This slavery is going to be perpetual. Because if you don't know, you don't know. And in this other arena, they says, I am not responsible for my disease, but I am responsible for my recovery. Because once you know, you're held accountable. And we're telling you today, you're not Negro, black, colored, African American, Afro American. So once you go outside that door and continue to proclaim or hang on to those, and I know it's a process. It was a process for me also. I know it's a process. because we have family and people around us, and we don't want to feel separate from our family or unloved or unwanted, you know. When I reclamated my name used to be Raymond Otis Rawlings. Had no meaning. But our ancestors gave their children names with a meaning. So I looked up Anwar. It means a ray of light. Didn't y'all see how the room got a little brighter when I came? His love. Yeah, because this is not awake. This is not awake, Moors. This is the awakening. Islam. And I just want to read. This says the date of February the 21st, 1871, and the 41st Congress is in session. I refer you to the Act of the 41st Congress, Section 34, Session 3, Chapters 61 and 62. On this day in the history of our nation. Now, this is Europeans speaking, because they're talking about their nation. It says, Congress passed an act titled, An Act to Provide a Government for the District of Columbia. This is also known as the Act of 1871. Pull it up. It says, what does this mean? Well, it means that Congress, under no constitutional authority to do so, created a separate form of government for the District of Columbia, which is a 10-mile square parcel of land. It goes on to say, how could they do that? Moreover, why would they do that? For example, let's look at the circumstances of those days. The Act of 1871 was passed at a vulnerable time in America. Our nation was essentially bankrupt, weakened, and financially depleted in an aftermath of the Civil War. The Civil War itself was nothing more than a calculated front. But they've been fooling people for was a calculated front for some petty fancy footwork by corporate backroom players. It was a strategic maneuver by European interests, international bankers, who were intended upon gaining a stronghold on the necks and coffers of America. And I'm going to drop down to say, it says, in essence, this act formed a corporation known as the United States. Note the capitalization, because it is important. This corporation, owned by foreign interests, moved right in and shoveled the original organic version of the Constitution to the dusty corner. With the Act of 1871, our Constitution was defaced in the sense that the title was blocked capitals. Look at your birth certificate. You got all capital letters on it. Look at your driver's license. All capital letters. It goes on to say, with the Act of 1871, our Constitution was defaced and in the sense that the title was blocked capitals and the words for was changed to the word of in the title. The original Constitution drafted by the Founding Fathers was written in this manner. The corporate Constitution reads, the Constitution of the United States of America. And I say this more because it's in their nature just to be deceitful. And I'm not trying to talk bad or negative about Europeans. Do your own research. Do your own research. And I had a document up I wanted to read, and it's called Stockholm Syndrome. And a lot of our people, and look it up. Look it up on here, what the Stockholm Syndrome is. And basically what the Stockholm Syndrome is And they first diagnosed it, I think, with Patty Hearst, but it was other diagnoses before her, where the victim that's captured gets so compassionate with her captor that she starts believing, he or she starts believing the mission of the captor. That's heavy. That is heavy. So our mindset, most of our people believe that they are free. Because you can go outside your door, you can start your car up, you can go to work, go to the movies, go to the store, buy food. But if they shut down all of those entities that they own, and the Grand National Secretary of State just read it, billions of dollars in economics we bring into this, we spend right here in this country. And we have nothing to show for it, nothing of our own. Because they shut all those stores and banks and other resources down, we're going to be in trouble. We have to get our own. And it's due to us. And I want to say this in closing. This is a divine and national movement. When the great God of the universe moves, you better get out of his way. That's all I can say. Islam and peace, Moors.
Rise and give praise to Almighty God Allah. I give honor to our illustrious prophet, our love thought, our prophet Noble Jew Ali, our Hajj Sharif Abdul Ali, that is. I give honor to Act 1, which is our divine constitution and its bylaws. I give honor to all divine ministers. I give honor to all swift angels, and I give special honor to our citizens, and give a special honor to you all. Because like the minister said, the one came before me, my beautiful brother, he said, you could have been any place, but you're here. So give yourself honor for being here. And giving honor to all these beautiful officials once again for taking a stand and being a man. And when we say man, we talking about woman too. You know, because we deal with the spirit realm, we ain't dealing with the gender thing. We know how we've been trained. When you talk about men, oh, you lift me out. No, we ain't leave you out. Matter of fact, we couldn't leave you out. It would not be no us if it wasn't for you too. So it's us. It's with us that we make man in our image and after our likeness. You know, it takes man and woman, it takes a family to make a nation. You know, it starts in the house right there, which is the smallest unit, but yet it's the greatest unit. Start right there in the household. What you teach your children, they take it out in the community and spread it abroad. So it's up to you to season your children's mind early with the maximums of truth. The importance of that trust of being a parent is up to you whether your child be a curse or a blessing to the community. So it's up to you, parent, that we must teach our children those things rightful that they need to know in order to be an upright and productive citizen of their own community, of their own government. That's right. That's what this thing is about. It's about government. It's about nationhood. Everybody speak about nation, but so many people are so far from it. You know, because they still believe that they are citizens of the USA. Being under that wrong concept right there, you're on the wrong page. You start out the gate wrong when you say, I am a citizen of the United States. You know, we're correcting so much. You know, we're here to set the record straight. You know what I mean? So I want to give honor to everything that all of the ministers said before my coming to the podium. And what I want to bring to our attention, since we're talking about government, because all governments have a constitution. So I want to go into the Constitution of Moorish America. Of Moorish America. Not the Moorish Science Temple of America, even though that was the beginning. All right, straighten that. That was the beginning. That's an organization. That was a school set up by a holy divine prophet. See, governments can own organizations, but organizations can't own governments. It's right there in Act 5. I don't see how they miss it. Come on, brother. Where's the track? The only way you miss it if somebody blindfolds you and hoodwinked you. That's the only way that you in food, hoodwinked, bamboozled, and some more stuff. With your black fez on. Yeah, and I said that for a reason. Because guess what? There's a lot of things a lot of us practicing and was doing, ain't no have a clue of what we was doing. All we was told, do that. And you did it. You know, but now we straightening out the record. So we going into our own constitution now. We have that right. It's our divine right to have that. And our divine constitution says, Moorish American Act 1, that the Grand Sheik and the chairman of Moorish America are empowered to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the Prophet and the grand body of Moorish America. The assistant Grand Sheik is to assist the Grand Sheik in all affairs if he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and is known before the citizens of Moorish America, which is our Constitution. Now, I want to point out and go into what the entirety of the divine Constitution of a holy people, which I just read. A Constitution is the fundamental and organic law, fundamental and organic law representing the nation state and descendant character of recognized people. Now, the minister was talking about the corporation, the United States being a corporation, and they can't make citizens. So where's the descent nature of a corporation? There is no such thing. That's a misnomer. It's a misnomer. So why is they still practicing this to this very day? Because the people have been dumbed down. They've been trained. Hoodwinked, still going to their institutions. Now, since we on the scene now, we trying to take that blindfold off so you can actually see. You know, so it goes on to say that all lawful constitutions contain three basic components. Number one, the form of government, which is theocratic for the Moorish Americans. Two, principles for which it stands: love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And the citizens and natural members of the state, which are the three components. The three components is that substance that form and makes us part and parcel of the said government. That's the major three components that make us part and parcel. I know when I came up through the temple, they used to say part and partial. Yeah. And then I heard them more say part and parcel, so I asked the so-called Grand Sheik at the time, what was the difference? Shut him down. Shut him down. Because see, what I was embarking on was something that I don't supposed to know about. That's right. You know, until I met this angel over here. And I met this angel over here, we was talking about there's supposed to have been a second door on the Moorish Zion Temple of America, and that thing was actually closed to me. I said, okay. I see why he didn't answer that question. He didn't want us to know that that the government was already with the prophet from the very beginning. You just didn't have eyes to see. And he had prophesied, he said it would be the third and fourth generation that would see the good of my works. The Moors is coming in today, is coming in with their eyes wide open. It's time now. It's time now. Oh, don't get me filled up. You talk about our government more.
You got the light on. Come on, Seven Angel. Act like Seven.
Ah, boy. It says, they are the constitutional rudiments, are key factors. They are key factors for the Moorish Americans to be on familiar terms. Familiar terms, not arguments, not competition, not trying to, I'm the boss man, I'm the leader guy, I'm the new slave master of our people. No. We talk about terms that's based on the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, with the great God Allah at the head. But you got to line your will up. You got to purify your heart and your mind. We ain't in here playing games. We ain't in here playing games. So if you're here to play games, there goes the door. We ain't afraid to tell you. Because we don't play enough games long enough. This ain't no social club. We ain't playing church. We're building a nation. We're putting form to our government. That which is above, so below. Open up your eye so you can see. But you got to clean that mind, that dirty, filthy mind. You got to change the thought pattern. You got to give up that slave mentality or the slave, the syndrome that the Moor were talking about. You got to heal from the post-traumatic slave syndrome. You got to be able to humble yourself. He said that in the questionnaire, how humble should a man be? As ignorant as art they are. You have to admit that. I may see that you may be ignorant as that door right there, but guess what? It ain't going to do nothing for you. You got to admit that I don't know that. I thought I knew, but I don't know, but I'm willing to learn. That's what you got to admit. With your titles. With your titles and your letters behind your name. Doctor or degree to do nothing. The mission out of the slave master. To keep our people buried in the shallow grave. Take your foot off our people's neck.
Explain yourself. Come on.
The guardian angels are here.
This is your time. One more time. It's your time. Come on.
The Constitution of a nation is therefore the fundamental law, the fundamental force, which is the will of Allah. The fundamental force from which all its citizens that you have right within you, all citizens derive their just powers to be free, protected, and guided. These autonomous and natural laws empowers the Moors to nationalize the land, not people. I remember I came through the temple and they had me stick my head through the flag. Then I stuck my head through the flag or two of them people that enslaved me, my enemy. Talking about I'm born, being reborn. Yeah, okay. What they did was they tightened a lock on my brain. That's what they did. You know, when I asked the prophet, I said, did the prophet demonstrate a ceremony? No. The prophet registered his citizens. That word registered right there should have turned the light on right there.
Come on, brother. Come on.
Oh, boy. Yes, sir. Words carry spirit. And the prophet said, you Moors better take heed to what I'm saying. Every word I speak is spirit.
Let it loose now. Let it loose.
You say the Moors to nationalize land and air and waterways upon which their flag can stand.
Set them free.
Their prosperity can live. Their children can live in autonomy and peace. Its government to be sovereign in defense of its principles. We don't have no enemies. The only enemy we have is the one that lies within. We ain't got no beef with nobody. We don't have no atomic bombs. We don't have no mass destruction, weapons of mass destruction. The only weapon we may have or appear to be to you is the truth. And what I say, it appear to be to you the truth, and because it appear to be a weapon, because you refuse to accept it. You refuse to accept it, but it's yours. It's you. That's what it's about. It's you. You the issue. That's what issues mean. It's you.
Make sure they know. Tell them one more time.
As the angel of the great God sent to bring his people the everlasting gospel, Noble Drew Ali introduced the divine constitution while the Moorish Americans were still students of his organization, the Moorish Science Temple of America. And I give honor to the Moorish Science Temple of America. I ain't speaking radical, but I identify it for what it is. The complete compilation of the organic words expressed in Act 1, composes the whole Constitution of Moorish America intact. The divine Constitution of the Moorish is the world's second shortest mass of constitutional laws of any government on earth to date, save the United States. Our divine Constitution of Moorish America, the Moorish American nation, is also known as a divine covenant. Look up the word covenant. You are in contract with the great God. You have an obligation. He gave you a will. He told you it was free. But guess what? Your choice is bound. The choice you made, you can't see, but it's bound because guess what? He made you in his image after his likeness.
Come on now.
And he caused life to be the very thing to build a temple of perfected man. See?
Express yourself.
That's what life is meant to build. The temple of perfected man. Not the one to play basketball, even though I like basketball too. But I wasn't born to be made to be a basketball player. I was born to be a God. I was born to speak the words that he put in my heart. Oh, man. And those who try to tell you that you're not a God, get away from them. Those who tell you that national and divine creed is not important, get away from them. Because guess what? They got their hand in somebody's pocket. You know what I mean? They in contract with somebody. They took an oath. I'm going to keep them buried in the shallow grave. I ain't going to open their eyes, master. Oh, you let me get by with a little digging and scratching every now and then.
Watch yourself. Watch yourself. What's the basement, boy?
As long as you let me get the good job into becoming the principal. As long as you let me be one of those leaders in downtown somewhere. Let me be the mayor. I'll keep them asleep. And I got a whole team with me to help them stay asleep. And put titles on them with big badges and all kinds of stuff. And you look at that shiny stuff and you say, he must be the one. You know how we get. The Grand Poobah. That's what religion did to you. That's what religion did to you. My wife even bad witness. She told me back in the day that Daddy Grace, they used to hold him up on a chair and he used to baptize people with a hose, with a water hose, fingernails this long. They used to worship him. But guess who he was a student of? Noble Ali. But he took the light and reflected in a whole nother direction. See? We ain't doing that. Take the final example of the number one defender of the prophet Noble Ali. I can imagine what the brother had to go through, the things he had to fight. Okay, bro. You standing there still demonstrating love to them. They ready to take your life. But you trying to wake them up because of love that you have that they can't see. That's when you know that you're in line in accord with the great God Allah. That's what it means, Pastor. Love your enemies. In spite of, be able to teach them the truth when they dare ready to kill you. You teaching them. You teach a man. You teach him and raise him in the way that he should go, and when he get old, he won't depart from it. You put him on the 12-step ladder. You help him develop those 3-step ladders of faith, belief, faith, and fruition. You give him a tool belt. In each tool, it has a function, it has a job to build character. You said Jesus, yeah, Yehoshua. He was seen climbing up on a ladder. Yeah, and he had a tool belt too. I bet you Christian preachers won't tell you that. Yeah. Ask about Why was he climbing up on the on the ladder? I don't see that, my Bible. You know why? Because that was taken out. That was actually taken out. But we're here for that specific reason, so we can be enlightened. It says the divine constitution of Moorish American nation is also known as divine covenant, which I said, between the Father and the God of Allah through his holy prophet and the clean and pure nation, thereby creating an holy allegiance between God and man. You know, when he taught you in elementary school, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. They was training you then to give your allegiance to the very one who enslaved you. When you give your allegiance to a thing, you give your all in all. And our people fought and died for their cause. But when you ask them to fight for their own cause, there's something that is wrong with that picture. There's something wrong with that picture. So we gotta clean up our heart. And only gonna be a few minutes more because I see our divine minister here, who's a master teacher more, and I love when I hear this more teach. You must study the divine constitution and Holy Quran. These tools are his main footprints. These are his main footprints he left clearly cut for the Moorish Americans to follow, to be assured their prophet went this way. Often, the words constitution and government are used interchangeably to communicate the name of an instrument containing the fundamental laws and security of a state. Nevertheless, the free national constitution of every family attached, every family, black, Negro, color, is not attached. They've been detached from the human family. Attached to the human family of nations consists of these three elements: theocracy, which is the true form of government, the principles, and its citizens. And boys, when you get a chance at a later date, go back into your archives and pull up this lesson. Because the Grand National Chairman don't hold nothing back. Don't hold nothing back. That's why they mad at him. They mad at him. Oh, he letting out those ADAP secrets.
All right.
So we can't fleece them no more now because he's opening their eyes. He opened their eyes. So, all of it's out. He give them to you. All he say is, send me your email. He ain't with no dollar signs behind it. I know some of y'all know what I'm talking about because y'all bought some of them solvent packages. Some of you try to buy a solvency and try to demonstrate in the courts that you ain't no jurisdiction over me. I know what I'm talking about because I was one of them. I ain't talking about what somebody told me. I'm talking what I done myself. Going in there and demonstrate, you ain't no jurisdiction over me. I'm making a special appearance. That name sound like mine, but that ain't me. I'm looking behind me. I don't see nobody behind me. The Grand National Chairman said, you the red piece of meat. Standing in the face of a lion, a beast. No wonder I said, let me get up out of here. Me and my wife was like, well, there's something missing. It's something missing. We know that they're criminals. We know that the IRS and all those guys are criminals, but there's something missing that we can't seem to what it is. What it is. And then Allah, the door opened. And that's when the mighty angel came in. Took his seat. Y'all know those lessons? The mighty angel took his seat and opened up the book. Man, boys, I appreciate you and I love you. But get with this. If you don't get with this, you even gonna get with that. So, thank you for listening, and I'll turn the meeting back over to our secretary, our Grand National Secretary, Dr. Ramon Islam.